Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. In today's video, I'm going to be ranking the 10 worst NFL teams currently, and I'm going to do another video after the draft to see what teams improved and what didn't. I'm going to be ranking them from worst to best on these 10 worst teams, so 32 to 22 if we're doing the whole league. Before we begin the video, please subscribe. Subscribing is completely free, and you can always unsubscribe later, and it helps me out so much. Also, if you like the video, click the thumbs up, and let me know in the comment section what types of videos you guys want to see in the future, because I may just use your video idea. Also, follow me on my Instagram at Quinn_Health, which I post other NFL news and update you guys on new videos. Without further ado, let's get right into the video. At number 32 and number 10 on this list, we have the Houston Texans. The Houston Texans finished 4-12 last season, terrible compared to the year they had before where they made it to the second round of the playoffs. This massive decline is due to the fact that they traded away their star receiver DeAndre Hopkins for David Johnson, which is very, very, very bad on a general manager standpoint. Bill O'Brien was not cut out at all to be the general manager, and he was fired midway through the season. And also, they don't have a first-round pick going into this draft. So that means they cannot improve and get themselves a weapon for Deshaun Watson, who last year without any weapons, well, he had Will Fuller, but that's really meh. He threw for over 4,800 yards, which is just so impressive. On the defensive side of the ball, they could only manage 3 interceptions, 32nd in the NFL, and 33 sacks, which is 18th in the NFL. Just terrible. And over the year, they let up 464 points. That's 27th in the NFL. That's just absolutely terrible numbers for the defense. Just terrible. And now that J.J. Watt's gone, they really don't have anyone on that defense. Who's going to play defense for you? You have no first-round pick. What are you doing? This is why you're number 32. And yeah, this is why you're 32, and the Jags are 32. At number 32, though, we have the Houston Texans. At number 9 on this and number 31 overall, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jacksonville Jaguars have made a pretty good impact so far in free agency, but before we get into that, let's talk about how they did last season, as they won their first game last season, and then after that they were tanking the whole entire time for Trevor Lawrence, who I will think they will pick number 1 overall, as they have the number 1 overall selection, and they have the number 25 selection because they got that from the Rams with the trade for Jalen Ramsey. Now back to the free agency. They didn't pick up a lot of key impact players. They picked up some Ohio State guys who will mesh well, I think, with Urban Meyer, their new head coach, which is just a phenomenal decision. Urban Meyer was just an excellent decision, but my original thoughts on this, with the number 1 pick, they were going to pick Justin Fields just because of the connection, and that really would not surprise me. But they've gone out and said, no, I'm not stupid, and I'm going to take Trevor. At number 8 on this, number 30 overall, we have the New Jersey Jets. The New Jersey Jets have had a great free agency, picking up wide receiver Corey Davis, trading the 2018 first-round draft pick, their quarterback Sam Darnold to the Carolina Panthers, as well as they hired new head coach Robert Saleh, which is an extraordinary pickup, and he will help build that defense. And he has 2 excellent draft picks to do so. The number 2 overall pick, as they finished 2-14 last season, and the number 23 overall pick, as they traded with Seattle last season, as they traded Jamal Adams, the safety, to Seattle to acquire that pick. As that defense last season, they were 26th in points against, allowing 457 over the course of the season. They were 20th in sacks and 23rd in interceptions with only 10. So Robert Saleh will look to build around that in the draft, as for the offensive side of the ball, they were not good at all either, finishing 32nd points per game. And I think with that number 2 overall pick, they will pick a quarterback out of BYU, Zach Wilson. He has good weapons around him. He has an excellent offensive tackle in Mekhi Becton, drafted last year. So this team is going to probably get better, but they're not certainly in playoff contender yet. Next, we have our first NFC team. We have the Detroit Lions at number 29, number 7 on this list. They also hold the number 7 overall pick, finishing 5-11 last season. It's the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions defense was absolutely trash last season. Before we get into that, we need to discuss the trade with them and the Rams. They sent quarterback Matthew Stafford to the Rams, and they picked up Jared Goff as well as multiple first-round picks in the future, which is excellent for them. Now, that 7th overall pick, I think they will be looking at offense to help Jared out a lot as well, but defense is really going to be a key here in this draft. 32nd in points against, just pure terrible. And that's something they will need to fix, as well as getting a wide receiver going into this draft. Up next, we have the Philadelphia Eagles. The Philadelphia Eagles finished 4-11-1 last season, and somehow, partway through the year, they were winning their division, as the winning team, the Washington football team, finished 7-9, as the Eagles finished 4th last in the division, which is not good at all. They hold the number 12 overall pick via San Francisco and Miami through that whole trade soiree. This pick could be used in a lot of different ways. I personally think they will get a wide receiver to really help out Jalen Hurts in that offense, as they only had 20.9 points per game is what they averaged last season. Now, to be fair, Jalen did not start until halfway through the year. So really, this will be the first full season we see Jalen in action. So I will think they will get him a young wide receiver to help him, as well as maybe some defensive players could also be used in this draft, as well as some other pass catchers for Jalen. So the Eagles could get better, but at the moment, there's so much talent in that division that it's really hard to see them competing at all again this year. But again, it's the NFC East, the toilet bowl of the NFL, so you never know. Next, we have the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons hold the number 4 overall pick heading into this draft, which they have talked about trading away. Not really sure what's really going to happen there, but they don't really completely need that pick except for the defense, which they could always trade back and get more value for a quarterback-needy team. But last season, this team finished 4-12. They were pretty good on both sides of the ball. The offense especially was explosive, with Julio Jones and Calvin Ridley catching the ball from Matt Ryan. It was just an excellent combination. The defense was also middle of the pack last season, with 19th in the NFL, with 414 points allowed during the whole of last season, which is very good for what they had previously. This team is pushing for a win now, right now, because of Julio Jones is ending his career soon. He's tailing off towards the end of his career, as well as Matt Ryan. How many more seasons the two of them have together? They need to get a Super Bowl now. At number 26 overall, 5th on my list, we have the Cincinnati Bengals. The Cincinnati Bengals finished 4-11-1 last season, led by their quarterback Joe Burrow, who got injured partway through the season due to the fact that this team has no offensive line whatsoever. They hold the number 5th overall pick, but they also need a wide receiver. I think they get wide receiver Ja'Marr Chase out of LSU, as Burrow and him have the LSU connection, as well as that they have a very deep offensive lineman class here. So I think it's better to get a impact player to start, and then you get offensive linemen in later rounds. Up next, we have the team that holds the number 9 overall pick going into the NFL draft. We have the Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos finished 5-11 last season behind their quarterback, Drew Lock. Drew Lock, I don't think, is their franchise quarterback whatsoever. Drafted in 2019, he's shown streaks of greatness, but has really not been well at all. Last year, he had weapon Jerry Jeudy to help him a lot, but there wasn't really anything going. This defense will return back to more of a full strength next season, as they have Von Miller back. But with that number 9 overall pick, I think they could maybe possibly get Trey Lance out of North Dakota State, the quarterback, to help this team win a Super Bowl. Maybe you have him and Drew Lock compete in camp, see who wins the job. I don't really know if there's a team that would trade for Drew Lock, but you never know. Looking into the top 3, at number 3, we have the Carolina Panthers. The Panthers finished 5-11 last season with an offense that was 24th in the league in points per game, averaging 21.9. The Panthers were supposed to have an explosive offense with running back Christian McCaffrey, who was injured 90% of the year. They also had quarterback Teddy Bridgewater, and that really did not work out at all. As we see, they have traded for Sam Darnold, so this is going to be a very good camp competition to see who wins the starting job there. They have wide receiver Robbie Anderson, but I think they really need one more player. That defense has stepped it up a lot, finishing 18th in points against last season with 402 over the course of the year, and they hold the number 8 overall pick. At number 2 on my list, and number 23 overall, we have the Los Angeles Chargers. The Los Angeles Chargers finished 7-9 last season, and they're the most complete team on this list here. They are the most complete team because of their outstanding passing game with Rookie of the Year Justin Herbert and wide receiver Keenan Allen, as well as running back Austin Eckler, and on defense they have defensive end Joey Bosa, who is an excellent defensive end. They just need a good coach and one more X-Factor player to set them to be a playoff team. Maybe they can get that with the number 13 overall pick in the draft. At number 1 on my list, and number 22 overall, which is still really not that good, we have the Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears finished 8-8 last season, were a playoff team. But somehow in free agency, they got themselves all the way back on this list. They did this from not signing an actual quarterback or trading for an actual quarterback. They thought they were going to get Russell Wilson. Instead, they got Andy Dalton. Really? That's like the same thing, that's the same thing. I just guarantee you, one's a Super Bowl winner and the other one's not. So anyways, their defense is extraordinary, finishing 14th in points against last season. The Chicago Bears hold the 20th overall pick, where they should look to get some more offensive firepower and possibly a quarterback. Although Andy Dalton is probably just going to be the quarterback for now. So on the offensive side of the ball, they have David Montgomery, who is a top 10 running back, who will probably have to carry this team on his back next season. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you like this video, click the thumbs up. Let me know what videos you guys want to see in the future. And please, subscribe. It is free. You can always unsubscribe later. Just please subscribe. Also, follow me on my Instagram, @Quinn_HealthWitch. I will be following you guys back. And comment what videos you guys want to see in the future. I'm Quinn, and I will see you soon.